Well, hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Channel Your Light, Own Your Intuitive. This is time for so much fun and just to be playful and joyful. I'm actually coming on here for a special reading, and I'm not really sure what it is, but in some traditions and cultures, they believe that Halloween is where the veil is very thin and the spirits are speaking. So I felt really in alignment with hopping on here in a style to get messages from our ancestors and our loved ones. I am going to use cards for this. I feel like we're both going to be doing an ancestral message, and maybe I'll do a second channel into some other aspects. I get this big nod in the room, like that's what we're going to do. But right here in this moment, I want to focus on messages from our ancestors. It's just another opportunity to illuminate and pull back the veil and understand that spirit is always with us and connected to us. And that really is the point, at least for me in this channel, for the ancestors to reach through to you. They're also pointing something else out. Let me just grab my cards here. They're also pointing out that the reason that it's powerful to do this for some people, because they have been conditioned to believe that the veil is only thin at certain times. And because they have that belief, they tend to be more open to receiving messages or have more experiences aligned with spirit at times like these during the year, where it is known, conditioned, and the belief system is that the veil is thin there. So that's why we utilize this time frame, not because their beliefs are wrong, but their belief directly is conducive to their energy and their frequency being more aligned with spirit. The ancestors are always sharing messages, always around, always cheering you on. But today, on a special evening, why not lean into the theme of the holiday? Holly Day. Perhaps your name is Holly. Perhaps your name is Holly. I don't know. I'm hearing a Christmas tune, oddly enough, on Halloween. Have a holly jolly Christ Mass. Oh, Christ Mass. So Jesus, Christ, is one of our ancestors. Buddha is one of our ancestors. Shiva, Shakti, Parvati, the goddesses, the gods, the deities, they're all parts of our ancestors. Literally, a card flew out on the floor here. I'm using the Sacred Oracles notice how that was all mixed up and jumble bumbled? I'm seeing, Bette Midler and the three witches going, the three sisters, and they're walking one step, two step, and they're moving. I adore Halloween and the funness, the tricks and the treats is great fun. Okay, so I pulled a card out. It flew on the floor. The card I pulled out was card number 11, which is diving for light. Now, I put it back in the deck here because I got that fun image of the three sisters, 3 by 3. Ooh, 3 by 3, all negative energy leaves me. 4 by 4, I open spirit's door. 5 by 5, I align with the divine. And 6 by 6. Ooh, I got heaven sent right here. 6 by 6. They're talking about sixes, like 666 is a negative thing or a devil's number. Friends, the sixth dimension, the number 6 is so powerful. In fact, if you omit that number and you make it the bad guy, that actually is one of the steps, one of the layers, one of the dimensions that we need to create the reality that we want to. So maybe it's more of a devil energy, that belief system, to say, oh, 6s are bad. Oh, right, because 6s are the very thing that you need in order to create the full steps of ascension and tap into the dimensions. And it's the place where the balance happens, where the third dimension, the upright trinity, and the inverted trinity, the balance of the masculine and the feminine, also occurs. I don't know as much as that is, but the ancestors are speaking truth. I'm seeing the word truth written across the room here. They are speaking truth. The ancestors speak truth, not to be agreed with, not to tell you that your beliefs are wrong, but speaking a different truth to remove and dissolve the blockages and the limits. For example, we utilize Hallows Eve in this moment with you, Erin, because we are attuning to the natural belief system that the veil is thin. And if you believe the veil is thin, you're more open to receiving messages and not doubting it. Whereas, as a medium, as psychics, as intuitives, some of you tend to go on the journey to discover that the veil is always thin, and sometimes there really is never a veil there. The veil is just there between the worlds so that we have a little bit of ease and flow in our regular everyday life. But the veil is thin and the curtain pulls back whenever you choose to be connected with it so that it can guide you in your physical everyday life. So fascinating and interesting. As I was talking this whole time, I've just been laying cards out on the table, with no rhyme, no reason, and no direction. So apparently we are doing this as a tarot reading, and we're going to read each of these as a story. That really is what tarot does. It tells a story, whereas an oracle card speaks to the moment. Now I'm using oracle cards to tell a story in the narrative that we would in the tarot. I'm not sure why I'm illuminating this. Perhaps it's something that is affirming what you know or what you do if you're a tarot reader. Interesting. Spirit, where do you want to go with this? Creating conscious connections. That's the first card. That might be inappropriate to have on YouTube. We'll do this or this. It's the reflection, the vulnerability, the nakedness of the human being. It's also the gray area, which is the shadow. Oh, yeah. Consciously connecting intentionally on a daily basis, dissolving the barriers and the limitations between you as spirit and spirit itself, loved ones crossed over. I also have I'm being referenced the Day of the Dead. So maybe you have a Spanish background. Maybe that's part of your heritage. Días de la Muerte, which is another favorite holiday of mine. And it's shortly after this, November the 5th. Perhaps you're celebrating that. I'm seeing that in spades. Now, it's interesting that I was intuitively drawn to utilize the conscious connections first, and that all these cards on the table are very random. I didn't pull them to tell a story. I just knew I was to flip cards as they needed to be flipped. Now, what I'm hearing right now is the conscious connections that we all have with each other. One of you here is in the midst of a spiral of a manifestation. Not quite there yet, but already started in the momentum. For whoever this message is for, your ancestors are saying, kind of like the farmer, when he plants the seed, he doesn't dig up the seed to see if it's taken root. He has patience. He understands there's a process. You are currently in a spiral of manifestation, pregnant with possibility that is taking root in a physical form. They're also making me feel like with this card that whoever this is that's in the spirals of manifestation, this manifestation happens because of a vision to bring something into form that doesn't exist yet, like you're creating it. Does that make sense? And all creations come from the visions and the divine guidance and the seed of the desire of the soul. There's so many different ways to attune to it, but they're just saying that right now we are just at the beginning of a spiral of manifestation. It's also card number 18 for somebody on here. That number is significant. Only take it as it resonates. That's just a specific confirmation for somebody. The spirals of manifestation that you are on, you couldn't create this or bring this into a form, manifest, man, I fest. It's your man, you as a physical vessel, man being a human being, not gender. Man as a human being, our manifestations happen through us. I, me, creating a form, a festival, a harvest, a table full of abundance fruits, whatever you want to call it. It's like this idea of manifestation and realizing that whoever this message is for, you're in a spiral of manifestation. And also whoever this message is for, I have one of your aunts or a group of aunts who are coming in, AUNTS, to affirm and confirm that this is indeed your message, a passed on loved one, an aunt that has passed over. They're very clear. She also smokes. I don't know whose message this is. Your aunt smokes. Now, they're also saying she smokes, but I don't. So it makes me feel like it's a team or a group of aunts and the ancestors. One smokes and one doesn't. So take what resonates and leave what doesn't. The ancestors are here to share the message with you, not to lose hope, not to lose faith. Do not dig up your garden. Do not allow yourself to go into the mindset or the thoughts that maybe it's not happening or you should be further ahead. You are deep in this spiral, and just around the river bend, you're going to discover the manifestation in its form when you least expect it. Do not give up now. Direct your energy, focus on it. Be in the modes and the rivers of faith rather than the rivers of hope. Hope implies that, it may or may not come through, but faith implies it's already coming through. It's already done. Lean into that, affirm that. That's the conscious connection coming through for this right now. Now, I have a lot of cards on my table here, friends, and I'm supposed to speak to each card individually from the ancestors for the messages. Some of you are going to discover that all the cards are yours. Some of you are going to find that maybe 2 or 3 are yours. Some of you are going to say, I've got one card that's mine. Allow it to be what it is. Know what message is yours and what message is not. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. These are the conscious connections that exist within the ancestors and their ability to guide and gift us with specific channeled messages, and also able to touch your deep unconscious realms and hear your prayers to be able to deliver timely messages regardless of the energy. Oh, I have a big group of shamans here. And this is, I have the owls and the shamans. This is interesting because on a lot of these cards, there are birds. Oh, this is so good. Oh, this is so good, Spirit. Thank you. Messages from the ancestors. So this group of shamans is saying, we are all of your ancestors. We all have a story to tell through time. We all have experiences to gift and guide you with. You simply need to open to the guidance, recognizing that you can learn from the past like the elephant does. Its intellect and its wisdom. It honors the communities of the ancestors, the heritage, those that came before us, in order to align with a better path, in order to break patterns that are no longer necessary. The ancestors come to the table to share their messages, to support, to guide, to replenish you, to hold you, and to illuminate for you. The ancestors are always on your side. The ancestors, I'm seeing the north, the east, the south, and the west, the 4 directions. The ancestors come from all 4 directions, from above and below, throughout all realms, for this particular message. Next card. The ancestors' message. I have an owl for this one. This is the owl collective coming through. Maybe that's your spirit animal or you attune to it. The perfection of your life. Now, this isn't typically depicted, or it's not showing as an actual sacred geometrical shape that's well known. Maybe it is, but I'm just feeling like it's a different depiction. But I'm getting the flower of life and how there's like this continual flow and spiraling of energy in this particular energy. It is sacred geometry in that aspect. Now, I want you to notice all the multiple layers in that card. The owls are saying, notice it is not one clear, concise line. Some are bright and vibrant and easily visible. Some are soft in the background. Some are dotted and seem to start and stop. Some don't even look like a line. They look like a shadow. Some of them just look like little dots that try and make a line with nothing in between them. Oh, but my friends, this is the divine design of the perfection of your life. When all seems to be going wrong, when you feel like you can't quite put things together, we ask you to don the lens of spirit. We ask you to align with the divine. We ask you to see with the eyes of the owl, who can perceive beyond and see above, both seeing the illusions, the spaces and the shadows, but also seeing the truth, the light, and the wisdom. Notice that they all create lines, they all take a form. And if they were all simply clear, vivid lines, well, that wouldn't be very synonymous with your life experiences, would it be? Allow your mind to loosen, allow your thoughts to scatter. I have the wind here now. Allow the wind to scatter the thoughts, so that you may receive the higher guidance, the wisdom of the owl who sees in the night, in the places that cannot be seen, in the hidden realms. Allow the shamans and the owls to gift you with the visions, the understandings, the greater arc, the perfection of your life in this moment. This will carry you so greatly. This will heal those little nigglings in the mind. They're really tuning, the shamans and the owls, tuning this to something about the mind for somebody on here. Notice all those great trees as well. That tree was once a seed. The tree didn't, constantly say, how do I grow? How do I grow? It's in the blueprint of the seed. You're also a seed. You have a blueprint inside you that knows exactly what to do, where to go, how to do it, what to explore, what to expand, and what to experience. This is the perfection of your life. So somebody, whoever this is, you've been caught in the mind loops or a mind trap of only seeing something one way. This is meant to be a revelatory message from your ancestors who are deeply connected to the shamans and their teachings, regardless of the culture. There's many different shamans, medicine women, medicine men from all these different areas in the world. I am not to limit this to one culture, one teaching, and one collective. They were very clear. The reason why I pulled all these cards is because the ancestors wish to share messages, and they are all our ancestors as human beings here. This means they all have wisdom to teach us. They all have guidance to share with us. They all have love to give to us. They all have revelations to illuminate for us. Oh, this feels so good. And it really feels like unity. I have Bob Marley, one love. That's what I'm hearing. One love. This is powerful. I have MJ here, friends, Michael Jackson, that frequency, that energy, and they're playing the song. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. It doesn't matter what you are. It doesn't matter what you believe. We all have ancestors, and all of our ancestors are here to help us rise up, to be whole, to be free, to relinquish the wounds, to ensure we do not repeat what doesn't need to be repeated anymore. So we come together collectively in a message of unity on All Hallows Eve, on the Celtic celebration, on the feelings or the labels and the stories of Halloween. It does not matter what your culture is, the stories layer. This concludes this message, and we begin with the next message from the ancestors. Oh, friends. Next one. This card was in reverse. Now, this deck doesn't offer reversals. It's called Shock of the New. I want you to notice the sunflowers on one side of the mind and the divine symphony on the other. Notice the sacred geometry at the throat, singing its song, its strangeness, its weirdness, its eclecticness, its wild wisdom, the things that seems like it's madness, and yet it is all divinely designed, like the perfection of your life. So too is divinity and your intuition. Whoever this message is for, they're really pointing me to the throat chakra. You have had a throat chakra activation, which, I have somebody's mother and brother. Interesting. Somebody's mother and somebody's brother passed away in spirit. Yes, your family and loved ones who have relinquished their body to just completely be spirit without the limitations of the body. They're all showing up for this too because they're ancestors as well, and they love you deeply, completely, and entirely. Don't ever think that they do not. In spirit, love absorbs all things. It dissolves all things. I hope I don't run out of batteries to do this whole message. If I do, I'll come back to the table for the part 2, friends, just so you know. So when we look at this shock of the new here, whoever this message is for, I've got your mother in spirit showing up and I have your brother in spirit showing up. They're both saying and individually saying, because for some of you, it's just your mom and some of you, it's just your brother. And I also feel like for somebody on here, this isn't just like a physical, familial bloodline brother. This feels like a brother. I mean, like a brother from another mother. If you want to go there, a brother from another mother. This is somebody who is a brother in your soul tribe, your core frequency. There is a shock of the new occurring. There has been significant throat chakra activations for you. This is important and it's also imperative. The ancestors, woo, I have the water coming up, the ocean. So maybe you attune to water. I'm also hearing you are a water sign. You're also going through moments of clarity, purification, and just feeling like the water is cleansing you completely. And it's waves of water cleansing out the dense areas of the form. They're also saying every time there is a natural disaster somewhere on the earth plane, it is not actually a natural disaster. It is a cleansing of a structure within the earth plane that's been holding a consciousness. The ocean will be deeply impactful to the earth plane. The maps may change. Things may crumble. This is never an indicator of something that is wrong. This is a deep cleansing of Gaia. This is only a higher dimensional perspective to help you attune to the awareness or to help you move through and support you when things like this happen, when people are struggling, when natural disasters happen. What do we do as human beings, says this person's mother? We stand up and we rise up. We offer our help. We gather the food. We take donations and we go to help those people. In this way, a natural disaster often brings unity. All things for good. This throat activation for whoever this is for, this has been a long time coming. And it's like your whole ancestral lineage, except for one lady I'm hearing, the oddball in the family. Maybe you were shunned for speaking your truth. Maybe you were diminished. Maybe you felt ashamed of what you had to say because of the projections of others. I'm hearing whoever this message is for, who's been going through this massive throat chakra activation. This is going to be a shock of the new for you. Maybe you're seeing things in the everyday world that's going to be a shock of the new. Can you bear the discomfort, says the ocean, of the waves that wash and crash against you in order to cleanse and purify you? Can you bear the discomfort of the rising of the tides just for a moment? Can you bear the discomfort of speaking your truth at first? Because, my dear, in not too long, in a very short period of time, you're going to discover pure sovereignty of the voice, of the soul, of the body, of the frequencies, of your destiny. After all, destiny is chosen and walked. It is not something that is only given to some. It is what one chooses and is empowered to be able to make the choice. Your mother says that's what you've been going through. To step into alignment with your destiny, your throat chakra needs to be strong. It needs to be powerful. It needs to be tempered with wisdom and compassion rather than laced with hurt, betrayal, wounds, and all the things that are wrong. This is a huge message for somebody on here. Perhaps you like sunflowers. Perhaps you're a musician or you're writing music or poetry that's deeply connected to sound frequencies. We need the whole note of you. It is your throat chakra that sings with the whole note of you. Massive throat chakra activation. I also have the name Dolly coming in for that. I also want to make notice that there's two different eyes here, color as well. They're whoever's mother this is, they're making me feel like you need confirmations that this is actually for you. They're saying point out the eyes. They've got a blue eye and a green eye. This mother is saying I didn't have a blue eye and green eye, specifically who this message is for, but she's saying notice the difference in eye color. One eye is blue and one eye is green, but they're both being seen by the same eyes, the same brain. We can perceive with two different eyes. The shock of the new sometimes is a shifting and a flash and a change of a different perception, a higher view, a different color frequency being seen. Oh, there's just like, can you bear the discomfort? Because if you can, you're gonna love your newness. You're gonna love the way that you're able to move in a clear, confident voice of yourself, whoever that message is for. This concludes that message. Thank you so much. In addition, they're also showing me a bike. So I feel like they're saying that's significant for whoever this message is for as well, as a confirmation, not necessarily from the mother or the brother, but the bike is significant. So maybe you're a cyclist, take it how it resonates. They're also showing me the wheels. Two wheels are turning. They are in balance and moving at the same. Oh, they're showing me as the bike moves, the two tires moving at once. The wheels are now in balance and turning, just like the bike. Notice it is you riding the bike as part of the Holy Trinity, and the two wheels make the two corners at the base of the triad. The two corners and the wheels of you in your energy balance is now moving you along rapidly and quickly for whoever this message is for. Whoa, let me know who that was for. That feels exciting. It feels deeply freeing. It feels so loving and encouraging. It feels like Baravi in the fires of transformation, like burning away what was in the way and just letting your song float out of your mouth. Let every note become the whole note, the whole song. I did another channel on that, which was so freaking amazing, you guys. It was probably about a month and a half ago. And I haven't been able to find that recording just because I've got so many recordings lined up for you guys channeling, because I'm channeling outside the time-space continuum, and I share the messages on the dates or times in the day or time that Spirit tells me is the most relevant. I don't even know that. Relevant is what I wanted to say. What is the most revealing and the most relevant for whoever it needs to reach. That's how I operate on this YouTube community specifically, so that you understand some of the undercurrents of it. Some channels are channeled months ahead of time. For example, some of the current channels coming out are from the beginning of October, whereas some of them are actually from June that I recorded, and now I'm feeling really strongly the alignment to post each one as is necessary. Notice that it doesn't require you to be in June with me. The message in June I recorded and channeled is for you to receive it at this time when your energy is ready for it. These are sacred nuances and subtleties that require a deep amount of trust. This is being shared with all of you here in this community. Why, Spirit? I have the grandmothers here so that people understand that they will receive the messages when they need to, not before and not after. And specifically so that it helps them on their journey in some way, whether it is affirming their intuition, holding them when they're losing faith and hope and having doubt. Sometimes we deliver messages ahead of time of the experience so that when they ask, you show up with the answer, but channeled it before, so that our loved ones understand that Spirit has always got their back and is 10 steps ahead of them, helping them, supporting them, and guiding them. And at other times, we do this in this way specifically as a teaching tool for other souls who are just discovering who they are, who are moving through their shadow, so that can be illuminated for them as well. Do not forget that all paths lead home, says the grandmothers. There are many ways to intuit. There are many mechanics. There are many nuts and bolts. There are many nuances, and what works for one does not work for another. But my goodness, as the ancestors alight with all this truth, we wish to arise and arrive at in the humility of all souls, that we are all here working together. We do not need to be better than another and no more than another, have a better skill than another, or be less than another. We are all working together for all of our evolution. I actually feel like that's a side note message for somebody on here who's struggling with something with ego, or I'm actually being illuminated, somebody's grandmother over here. She's saying somebody's projecting their ego at you, and this is just a confirmation for you to trust you and keep that in check. Know who you are. As long as you know who you are, anybody can say anything they want to. They can have any ego they want to. It doesn't matter, because you're down at the core frequency of you. Spirit is providing you a vote of confidence to recognize your spiritual authority in this moment. This message does not need a card. This is tuning into the energy of a specific intuitive or a reader. Both, and they're saying one who's projecting an ego or struggling with their shadow, and this is just revealing it. But also there's another one here who's saying you're having the experience of somebody projecting their shadow onto you as an intuitive or tarot reader. This is clear. It's a tarot reader. Yeah, don't worry about anybody else. Everybody does it differently. And just because somebody does it one way doesn't mean your way is wrong. Just because the message isn't for one person doesn't mean it's not for 10 other people. So this is a vote of confidence. I don't know why I'm saying a vote of confidence. That's typically done in other dimensions and realms, but I trust that I'm picking up on that for a reason. Observatory, I'm hearing observing. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Spirit. Another bullseye in the room, I'm hearing. Next message. We're going to move that energy to the side. Let me know if you needed that. Now we have Pandora's gift. Whoever this message is for, I'm seeing New Orleans, a very French vibe. I'm also seeing theatrical, dramatic, musical. I'm also seeing whoever this message is for, that's who you are. You are wildly aligned with spirit, so much so that you had to put a mask on. Pandora's box was always open. That is the gift of Pandora. You've always been in this realms. You have always been like this. You've always been able to transform and shift, and maybe people call you a shapeshifter. But the mask has come off, and the brilliance of the light behind all the colors, behind the mask, the illumination of the higher dimensional frequencies. And notice all the hieroglyphs and all the symbols that are coming out of that light. I'm trying to get really close so that you guys can see that there. Notice it's along her nose, her forehead. It's coming from the heart of hearts, up the throat, around the hair, like illuminating like a grid of light of ancient ancestral symbolism. These are symbols that are, I'm hearing codes within you that are now finally free to come out. This is for somebody who is a very old soul, and you have been, wow, a very old soul who's learning to feel safe to be who you are in the world completely and entirely. Listen, whoever this message is for, you are magical AF. You are freaking amazing. I can't even. Notice the wings. There's blue butterfly wings. There's monarch wings. There's the masquerade, pretty faces on parade, masquerade, just to tie into the musical there. You are a gift. This is the gift inside of all of us. Whoever this message is for, you're revealing this gift of who you are, opening Pandora's gift in the box of you amidst people who don't even recognize they're wearing a mask. I don't know how else to put it. And that's difficult. That's not always easy. Being the first one out, being the one that has the vision that's so different from everybody else. Man, you be developing a next level kind of spiritual strength. That's what you've been doing. You've been faced with so many people that do not understand you, that you've had to cultivate a profound amount of spiritual strength to even be able to do this. But you're doing this, my friend, and it was hard because now you understand why everybody else has such a difficulty with it. Now you're with it. Notice my voice went there. Notice that you understand why people wear masks. You can see the masks they're wearing. You are coded with light codes that have all been activated They've all been flowing through you, and now the mask is coming off to show you. That's a message for a star seed and the star nations to do with the prophecy. Hold on here. I need a second. I need a drink. We're going to continue. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other ancestral messages. This is going to be a long one, friends. What I'll do is I'll timestamp these. These aren't going to go out on Halloween, but we welcome message from the ancestors anytime. All right, guys, we're back here. So, okay, next card, messages from the ancestors. Ooh, after the storm. Notice there's actually an owl in it. Side note, and it's a snowy white owl, which is significant to differentiate between the different types of owls, I want to say. And the snowy white owl is really deeply connected with feminine wisdom. Notice that it's the storm, after the storm. I also want to recognize the spiritual sun around her, the solar plexus. The ancestors are saying the message for whom this is for. The storm that you have encountered is actually directly related to your personal power, to thrust you into your power, to break away in the storm, that which has been limiting you, which has negatively been impacting you, which has been a constriction on your personal power. So that's really interesting, whoever that message is for. They're saying after the storm. So just know whatever storm you're going through, you are coming out the other side of it with profound personal power. So it's like the diamond in the struggle, I guess you could say, that kind of an energy. There's a dual message with this. They're saying these two cards go together. Okay, I was going to do them individually, but I'm going to roll with it. They're saying this second card, this restore and replenish, is needed. After the storm, you will be given the prisms of the personal power. That was the purpose of the storm, to break away anything limiting you. But you do need to rest, restore, and replenish your body, your mind, your energy. You need to take time to rest. Like even wisdom needs to rest. Even after all this excitement, we then need to rest. If we don't have rest, how are we going to have the energy to put into new manifestations, new creations? That personal power, that integration, that storm calls you into resting and replenishing in the sanctuary of the self. And they're also saying this. A message for a divine feminine energy. Too many times you run from an empty cup. Your personal power that causes you to sacrifice parts of you was diminished, and you were told that you're only powerful when you were sacrificing yourself for others. So you'd never restored and replenished yourself, hence, and always putting into others, which is why you need to do this, which becomes your source of empowerment, because you're the power that's able to help people or do for people. And if you don't do this, you're not going to be able to help people. I don't know whose message that is, but conscious connections is coming out again. Conscious connections. And that's a very real part of the journey, friends. I know I went through phases of that too, where sure, I can help you, but I wasn't necessarily taking care of myself in the way I needed to. I feel like that's a lesson that a lot of us learn at some point in the journey, specifically as divine feminines who will do to the sacrifice of ourselves and run on an empty cup. No more, no more. I'm hearing no more. That is the wisdom of the owl. And notice the owl is the white snowy owl, the feminine one. It's very clear. These two cards go together. Also notice the circle of the personal power here, the yellow sun, the solar. And then notice the circle of the green, the earth, the leaves replenishing, the cycles of life. Notice that those two things are both circles around you. You is the owl, or the owl's message for you, telling you that your personal power is gleaned when you give yourself the amount of love and care, restoration, replenishment, rejuvenation. When you give that to you as much as you give to everybody else. That's, heart chakra and solar plexus. And when you're in a storm and it's blowing away all the things that no longer serve you, that's your message, friends. Restore, replenish, take care of yourself. Know that the storm was actually to ensure that you were in your full personal power and looking after you. This next one is, I don't know who this message is for, but I did say at the beginning that there's a lot of bird energy. Avian starseed races is coming through. Of course, in many indigenous communities, birds have very specific meanings, and each of them can be spirit animals or guides for us. Again, this card right here is the center point of the card. It's card number 44. Look at the crone, look at the clock, and look at all those birds. The snowy white owl, the peacock, and the raven. Notice that the feathers and peacocks around her are eyeballs. I don't know if you guys can see this. I love the imagery on these cards. This symbolism is so deep and interwoven with so many different things. Look at all the stars in the sky. And look at the web atop her head. Oh, let me just look at this card, friends. Okay, so it's not a clock above her head. It's actually, it looks like a full moon, looks like a compass. Notice there's an egg on the top, really close. I'm gonna get really close and just go through the whole card so you can see it. It's beautiful, the detailing. Take what resonates for you. I feel like somebody's gonna have a visual activation. The name of this card is Visions of Life Beyond Death. How crazy, amazing, awesome is that? Now, this is a message for a seer. Got it. Your visions of life beyond death are very true and very real. All the birds, the winged ones surround you, ensuring that you are able to access what you need and when you need it. Whoever this seer is, you have had a difficult journey, not just with others not quite aligning with you, but you've had a lot of self-judgment and a lot of self-doubt. A seer is kind of like a prophet. We're seeing into the darkness. So to see things and see them and share them with people and have everybody be like, yeah, whatever, because they're not seers. They can't see that shit even if they wanted to. Side note, I don't know who that's for, but it's important. You cannot use them as your barometer or your way to mark, affirm, validate your visions. You can't use anybody outside of you because they're not seers and they're not going to be able to validate it because they can't see it. Another seer might be able to, side note, but in general, I feel like the message for you is you are right on track. Your visions are accurate. The entire Wicked Ones are surrounding you to ensure from every single realm, there is a winged race in every realm. And in every realm, you have access to them, which shows you that dimensional aspect, that area, what is hidden in the dark, and bird's eye perspective. They're also saying this particular seer, this message is for. They're really pointing out the crone energy. The crone in the image, the older woman, but they're representing the crone as wisdom. She's wise, she's grounded, she's unapologetic, she's both gentle and tender and comforting, but she could boom, be direct to the point, sever an illusion, and call a spade a spade. That's the crone energy. She's taken all the things from her journey. Think about the triad, the three phases, or the triple goddess, the maiden, the mother, and the crone. The crone can't exist without first having had the experiences and the innocence of the maiden, then becoming the mother and nurturing and looking after all the others. Then she comes into the wisdom and the freedom and the understanding and the pearls and the diamonds and the greater view. As the crone, this seer, you are a seer who is in your crone era and your crone energy. Your wisdom of what you have seen is not just about the visions you see, but it's about the pearls underneath them. It's about the frequency you attune to. The consciousness by which you create from is so much more important than just creating something. Whoa, this feels super intense. Like I want to come through the screen. That's how intense this particular crone energy is. And it's not you, the crone, that's the intense energy. They're saying, yes, it is. but I want to tune out to, like, when we have all these bird's eye views and we bring them all together, we solidify all the different parts we are gathering, what we visioned, what we dreamed, where we've been, all the crap, all the good stuff, and we bring all these things together. We become so directly focused on that which is part of who we are. Be at cause is what I'm hearing. This allows you to be at cause. Your visions of life beyond death not only defy the logic and also other people's belief systems whom they are challenged by them. Oh, but my friends, there is so much life beyond death. That's the thing, right? There's so much life beyond this physical body. There's my energy field. There's all these different things. Everything in the room holds an energy. Every form is actually energy condensed, shaped, and molded into that form. That's the only reason you even see a form. So your visions of life beyond death are not only powerful, they are impactful. Your creative ideas are are very rich with value, knowledge, and life-changing things for people. Now, take that as it resonates. I'm not really sure how that plays out for this seer. They're also saying sometimes this is a message for a seer who doesn't necessarily see the future psychically or as a prophet, but the seer who sees the vision of the highest timeline for their soul, receiving the vision. Then you've been going on the journey to bring it into form. It's still the same message, whether you attune to being a seer or a prophet, or you have been a seer for the own vision of your life. And friends, if you want to be a seer for anything, I really would think that you would want it to be a seer for the own visions for your life, because it's your life and who doesn't want that? Anyway, it's just like a side note there, that we're all seers in some way. And whoever this message is for, it's dual too. One, the seer who is the prophet, and two, the one who has acted as their own seer to see the vision of the highest timeline for your soul's purpose in life. It's now time to take what you've gathered and get on that. Oh, I feel like I need to do this for the energy really quickly now. We've got two more, friends. I need a drink. Take a breath. Okay. The last two cards are dealing with the depths of the experiences in the emotional and the psychological landscapes, and to show them both at once. I'm hoping those are tuned in there. So notice that one says focus on the light, and notice the other one is softly, softly, the tender touch, the tears, the heart. This is significant for somebody. I'm getting psychological warfare and spiritual warfare or energetic manipulations, the deep sorrow and sadness, releasing it, allowing the light of compassion to come in, allowing yourself to be purified, and ensuring that you focus on the light when you are in those dark, shadowy moments, whether it's your own shadow work, whether it's ego, whether it's projections of others. I'm not sure. They're making me feel like that's just a little side note for somebody on here who's been dealing with a lot of dark entity stuff. But more importantly and more poignantly, this message is for the one whose heart is hurting, but also healing. One can only go so long in the darkness before they must arise for air, before they must find a moment to focus on light. For too much focus on darkness, after all, it really embodies and encompasses you in darkness. I'm hearing this is the message for the one whose heart has been like just weighed down. I'm getting the movie Moana, where Tafiti, the mountain, Gaia, the heart was stolen from her. And because she no longer had a heart, it was stolen. She turned into this monster, this ashy, tarry, fire kind of a thing. She's that monster because her heart is not there. And when you restore the heart, all of it falls away. Whoever this is, you're dealing with some deep heart stuff. You are doing deep soul healing. Focus on the light. You are not going to be here forever. These are the tender moments purifying you. I've got this card coming in now, life beyond death. You are being held by the divine. They're also pointing out this too. Focusing on the light does not mean that you're in denial about darkness or shadow. They're very clear about this. I want you to notice, okay, I'm just noticing this right now. Do you see the reflection in the window? How it's dark in here? And there's like a spotlight that's being reflected. Focus on the light. What if we told you that when we focus just on the darkness, they're showing me a beautiful, brilliant, bright star right now. Sometimes the star does not see its brilliance because when it looks out into its world, all it sees is all the darkness and the vastness of the sky, and a little star here and a little star there when we're in the evening. Sometimes the star does not see its own brilliantness, its brightness, or even who it is, because when it looks outside of itself, all it sees is this darkness. This is a change in perception. We want you to utilize that darkness, not to become entrenched in it, permeated by it, weighed down by a life of experience and sorrow. But we want you to notice that it is in the darkness, through the reflection, it is through the darkness we are able to see that light. If you are in darkness, hold tight, dear heart. Let the rivers of hurts flow. Focusing on the light, for it is in the darkness you will find the brightest light. You will yearn for it. We only look for light when we are in the darkness, and we only see darkness when we are shining a brilliant, beautiful light to even be able to see it. This is both a paradox and simply a perception and a way of seeing it that allows the mind to open to greater perceptions of light and dark, hurt and pain, love and light and shadow, and all those things. It is simply another step upon the journey, another way to perceive it, to help the soul evolve and transcend above right or wrong. This is where the secrets of Goya Kali enters the field, where we must be prepared and ready for certain ideas or concepts or truths about particular types of darkness, particular types of light, and how we can use the interplay to heal us rather than hinder us, to have a greater compassion for other people's beliefs, rather than attempting to judge, shame, shape, and mold as to what is right or wrong. Softly, softly, the tender touch. I feel like this is somebody who's a tender soul, who's just really in their feels right now. Really in their feels. They're also pointing out a higher illumination in that card. Notice that softly, softly tender touch. I don't know if you can see it in the card in the lighting here, but there's actually a lotus, sacred geometry behind her, the pearls of wisdom all the way around her mind, stemming from the center, mind's eye. It is very disappointing to go places and discover darkness, negativities, and densities. Whoever this message is for, allow yourself to be purified and cry your tears of sadness, both for you and for the others that you know have been impacted by that darkness. I want you to also turn your face to the light. Be at cause. Look at the pearls. They're not somebody else's pearls. They weren't given to you. These are pearls that have been strung by the wisdom of the threads of your third eye and your experiences. That is the final message from the ancestors. I am to come back to the beginning card. Notice in the conscious connections, this card is simply a reflection. It appears they are both in shadow, but they are mirroring each other. One looks away and the other looks towards you. Notice in the self, in the shadow realms, in the light realms, in any realm you wish to choose to go to, Ultimately, they're all part of the inner landscape of you. I cannot see outside of me unless I have touched the place inside of me that allows me to perceive in those hidden realms. This is why it is always a journey within. This is why your power is always within. This is why your darkness can be found within. And this is why your light can be found within. To have a conscious connection, a conscious awareness and integration of continually, I'm getting Syrian energy, of continually consciously developing unconditional love, regardless of the situation or how it might appear. Whoever this message is for, your wisdom is going to be highly coveted. And I don't like the word coveted, but I feel like, ooh, side note for somebody on here, have a conscious awareness of those who attempt to covet your energy, who greedily attempt to take it for their own, who greedily pretend that it's not their ego or their jealousy they're coming to you with. Be highly aware of these energies. Consciously connect. Recognize your worth. Know your shadow. If you do not know your shadow can be owned by another because your shadow is owning you. This is so interesting. That leads me to a channel from the summer that I did about working with the shadow master. It was super intense. I chose not to share it at the time, but I also feel like now is the time to share that as well. Have conscious connections with your shadow self, your light self, your hurts and your wounds, your pearls of wisdom, the darkness you've been in, and focus on the light. Be at cause. I am totally going to go back and find that Shadow Master channel and share it. This concludes the message from the ancestors for everyone that this is for. Again, they wish to remind you, some of you, only one card was your message. Others of you, 3 different ones are. For some of you, every single one of these cards is part of your message, your journey, and your story. The seer and the prophet has spoken. That's a strange ending. Beautiful souls. That concludes all of this. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for listening. Know that the veil is always thin. The ancestors always walk with us, guiding us. We honor them, all 4 corners, spirits to the north, east, the south, and the west. We honor all the teachers that have come before us and the wisdom that they have worked through and brought into forms on this earth plane, because those are the very stepping stones that allow us to be here in this day, stepping to a higher step. Without the ancestors, there would be no higher step to step onto. Do you see the evolution and the progression of all those that came before you, whether perceived as positive or negative? All of them go into the divine plan, the great cosmic destiny of arising on the steps of ascension into greater spiritual evolution. So thank you to the ancestors, and thank you to each and every one of you for your journeys, the work that you have done, your spiritual work, the things you've created, the places that you've been. You're the very reason that other people are going to be able to continue to step on. This is your legacy. You are your legacy. This is really important as a last message for somebody. I'm going to trust that the person that this is for will watch till the very end or skip till the end to listen to it. You are here as a legacy, both of your ancestors, but you're the pivotal movement between everything that they've built before you. You're the pivotal catalyst. You're the oh my God, that's so funny. It's so hard to say this. Why is that, spirit? Just keep going. Okay, I'm going to put that energy over there. Meh. You're the pivotal catalyst. Somebody doesn't want me to say that. Ah, got it. Tripping up on the words, confusing the words, because when one realizes that they are their legacy, and the legacy is that of their ancestors before them, positive and negative, but also they're the catalyst, pivotal moment for the legacy that is unfolding that they will leave behind when their consciousness decides, their spirit decides to leave this particular incarnation and this body. The one that this message is for is a soul who is here as a result of a legacy. This is well known. They are also the beginning of a new legacy and a new era. And you will be the legacy that the rest of us 100 years from now get to step up again because of. Legacies. A leg up from spirit. I'm literally seeing a card from the map deck. A leg up from spirit. The mama polar bear has the baby polar bear, giving it a leg up and carrying it through the iciest mountains, the most difficult terrains. Whoever that's for, this legacy person, I say this legacy person, but whoever that message is for, who is this catalyst and leaving a very particular legacy, and we're all leaving a legacy, friends. You're getting a leg up from spirit in every area, in ways that you can't perceive and in ways that you do perceive. That's how important what you are doing here is for the rest of us, for the future, for you, for all of those people that come after us, for the children of the earth, the children of the light, the star children. You taking this beautiful legacy that's been part of your journey and being this, you're like this person who takes everything that came before you. You honor it all and you continue all of their practices, but you actually shift the wheel so that it becomes an even greater progression of a legacy. And I also feel like whoever this message is for, you will have encountered some people who have been challenged by this and struggled by this. There's something about tradition there, but I promise you the traditions don't get left behind. Those traditions are meant to bring, this is your purpose, this is the point, this is the destiny, for you to uphold all the traditions and learn them all, get to this pivotal moment, which you've already done. I'm talking about something that's already occurred. You shift it so that all of those traditions actually flourish out into so many other ways. That's the beauty of this, is so good. So I'm just going to trust that whoever that last message is for, the legacy lever, that you will receive it. I'm going to close it there. I recorded the first part of this on the 31st on Halloween, and this second part where I've come back to it, I'm actually recording this on All Saints Day, the portal of a 111. And that's on purpose. According to me, I wanted to do all at once, but Spirit is saying that is on purpose, that the first half came on the All Hallows Eve, and that the second half comes on All Saints Day, even though they're all in the same video. Friends, I'm sending you all so much love. Thank you for being here. If you wish to connect with me for a private session, the 2025 sessions are fully booked. I did add a few extra dates, but those got booked up within less than 24 hours. So right now, if you're looking to book a session with me, I actually offer out sessions in blocks. Please subscribe to my email list on my website, erinchandler.com. You will be notified when the new January 2026 blocks comes out to book sessions for the winter and spring of 2026. And I'll probably just post a link here on YouTube too for you guys here, just so that you know when you want to book. And of course, a lot of courses are available to you if you want to open up your intuition, own your intuitive. There's a channeling course that's beginning also this month. If you want to be a part of that and learn how to channel all the different frequencies, discern with clarity for healing, holding, guidance, and just channeling higher frequencies and wisdom, you're welcome to join that. Check that out on the website as well. And I will leave that with you. I will see you in the next video here on YouTube. Much love.